Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the next episode of Little Shop of Nerds. I'm Julia.
Mike.
And last week's hint was...
Let's do the time warp again.
There we go. So, if you guys didn't pick up on it, this week's topic is going to be Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Which is my favorite musical ever.
I have never seen it until today. Last night. I watched it last night.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first time ever seeing it. And, we're going to talk about it.
Oh, yeah.
So, I'm confused by the whole entire movie.
I think that's the point. If it was supposed to be confusing. If not, I guess what it is, the guy who wrote it, O'Brien?
Something like that, yeah.
You might know him. He played Riff Raff, the butler, the hunchback butler, and...
Didn't they do, like, a parody of him in Scary Movie 2?
I don't know.
I think we'll figure it out later.
But either way, if you guys haven't seen it, Rocky Horror Picture Show is pretty much supposed to be like a horror musical. But what it is, it kind of takes how the movie acts, the musical acts. It acts like one of those 1950s B-movie science fiction shows, movies like you had Brad who acted like, I should have done this. I'm like,
yeah, and he was all like, yeah, I don't have any tattoos, and
yeah.
I think he smokes, which was pretty normal for people in the 50s.
Yeah, and you had, Janet Weiss, his fiance, was pretty much the same thing. And
she was really starting to let loose, though, as the movie went on.
Yep. And, then we have, Dr. Frankenfurter, who's I don't know how I can pronounce it.
He's a transvestite, basically.
Wait, can we say that?
We're going to have to say it because that's what he calls himself.
Well, even the song's called I'm a Sweet Transvestite.
So Dr. Frankenfurter was a transvestite. There's no other way to say it but that way.
And he's played by the great Tim Curry. If you have not heard that name, you don't have a childhood. He played pretty much in every movie, every cartoon known to man.
He was in Ferngully. He was in Home Alone 2.
He was also on Wild Thornberrys.
He was also in It.
It as the Pennywise.
The original, not whatever came out here recently.
The 1990s version.
Yeah.
Well, 80s, whatever. Then he played in Congo.
Was he in Congo?
Mm-hmm.
Did I see Congo?
I don't think he did.
Probably not.
Anyways, he was in there. Like I said, he has a whole movie show list he did. And like I said, he's like one of my favorite actors. Even like the movie was bad, at least he'll try to make it entertaining for you.
Mm-hmm.
And his singing voice is phenomenal.
It really is, yeah.
Like, even how he, say, when he sings, it's amazing, but when he tries to talk and pronounce stuff, like in Home Alone 2, like, Happily Lovely Die.
Yeah.
And others. But still, he's a good actor, and it's a shame we don't see him nowadays. But I think it's because why we don't see him, because I heard he had a stroke. And
he's also really old. I think he's like in his 70s and stuff like that. Yeah, so.
Because I know when you have a stroke, everything could mess up your body. And either way, he's still a good actor. Then we have pretty much the whole crew, Dr. Von Scott. And we had, Riff Raff, Magenta,
Columbia,
and Eddie. And Eddie is the ex-delivery driver, and he sings the song Hot Patootie. And the guy who played him is by the great singer. You might know him from his great hit, I Would Do Anything from Love, Meatloaf.
Yeah, that was kind of entertaining. It's a shame that he was only there for one song though.
Yeah, it's a shame. And besides that, and like I said, she thinks it's weird because all the stuff they do. I think that was the point.
Like it's not a bad movie. That's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm just very confused by the whole entire thing because I think they turned out to be aliens.
Yes, yes. Frankenfurter, Columbia, and Magenta and River Raft were aliens pretty much from a planet called what
Transylvania, like transsexual Transylvania or something like that.
And trust me, they pretty much
Wasn't Magenta and Riff Raff supposed to be siblings?
yes.
So
they did look really close.
That made me feel a little icky, to be honest.
But yes, it's like I said, it's pretty much good. If you watch the movie, after you watch the first musical number, there's going to be a scene where there's a wedding. Brad and Janet's friends get married, and
Janet catches the bouquet at the end.
But here's the thing: before all that, they're going to show like a priest and a farmer's wife and a husband. Take a really close look at that, because if you miss it for 1 sec, and you see it's Tim Curry, Riff Raff, and Magenta.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah,
you were telling me to make sure to look really close, and I did, and I didn't pick up on it.
Yeah, see, that's one thing. You won't pick it up real fast until you gotta pay attention for reals, because like there was a part where the was the criminologist,
Mm-hmm.
the little narrator guy, was reading the reports, and you see the picture of those three. And I'm like, holy shit! That's like if I didn't pay attention to that, that could be that Frankenfurter, Riff Raff. This was all planned from the beginning.
I mean, I think it probably was. Because if you notice, Janet, like, before their car breaks down, Janet was like, hey, that's like the third motorcycle we've passed since, we've started going home, and,
Mm-hmm.
And then they got to a dead end, they tried to back up, they blew out a tire, then they were forced to go to the castle.
Yeah, and that's true, too, and I really love the castle. It looks amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
And also, there was a part where Riff Raff starts to sing, he's dusting off the grandfather clock. It's a coffin. It looks like a coffin. It's the shape of a coffin. And when he opens up the door, there's a skeleton in it.
I missed that, too.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's when Charlie came home and he was talking to me.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's really cool. I was like, I want that. I want that clock. Yeah. I know it's weird as fuck. Hell, if I had company there, like, they look at it, I'm like, you know what? We might want to go. That'd be easy to get rid of someone.
Yeah, it actually would. Yeah.
Because I'm an introvert. I prefer being alone.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm a very big introvert.
It's like even like the neighbors, like, would you like us to come? No.
Yeah, so, but yeah, we forgot about the main attraction of the movie, Rocky Horror.
Yes, we forgot. What Frankenfurter was doing, if you remember the movie Frankenstein or even heard of the book, which...
If you haven't, what have you been doing with your life?
Right. But either way, Frankenfurter was trying to build a man. And pretty much, I think it was like following like Frankenstein, but here's the thing. It did not look like a corpse. Let's just say the guy...
He was kind of buff.
And he didn't look like a corpse.
He's kind of hot.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
And he was like wearing those wrestler Speedos and boots.
Yeah, apparently Janet also had a thing for him, but with her fiance being there, she couldn't really express that.
Yeah, and one thing is, I think Frankenfurter built him just for him. for Frankenfurter. But also, if you look at, there was part of the movie where she tries to hit on Janet and trying to.
Which what?
Was,
You mean when Frankenfurter showed up in their rooms?
Yeah.
Yeah. Frankenfurter like came into both Janet and Brad's room, and I think they pretty much did the deed. He did the deed with both of them.
I think it was more with Brad than Janet, though.
Yeah, but I mean, Frankenfurter seems like the type of guy to go for girl, I don't know. The type of person to go for a man. Let's just put it that way.
I think he's both, but it's more man, yes. But either way, yes, he does that, and Brad's a shame, and then Janet gets scared and all, and
Janet sleeps with Rocky Horror,
or just Rocky, yes. And they had that little song called "Touch Me." Was it "Touch Me"? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if this is dirty or not, but let's go with it.
That song made me feel a little uncomfortable, to be honest.
Made you feel dirty, didn't it?
A little bit, yeah. I'm like, and then which, by the way, the woman that played Janet was Susan Sarandon. And after seeing Susan Sarandon in Rocky Horror Picture Show, I don't think I could ever see her in the same way ever again, because she was literally getting felt up by Rocky.
Very much. But then, after that, oh yeah, Frankenfurter killed Eddie, by the way. Spoiler.
Oh yeah. But
that was before, with Jan and Rocky. But besides that, everything, what's going on, then this guy named Dr. Van Scott, who's a science teacher to Brad and Janet, came by to investigate something.
Yeah, because he said he was looking for his nephew.
And Frankenfurter didn't believe Brad. He's like, because when he saw Scott in the security cameras,
and that Brad seemed to know Scott,
and they thought it was an espionage thing.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: it wasn't like that. Frankenfurter pulls like a lever, and like a super magnet pulled Scott like upstairs, and through Columbia and Magenta's room.
Yeah.
Through a wall. Then after that, they have dinner, like and Frankenfurter asks like why Scott's here. He says, "I'm looking for my nephew," and he says that his nephew's name was Eddie.
And then that's when people started to freak out a little bit.
And Scott asked about his nephew. He says he knew his nephew was like a trouble kid, and there's a song called "When Eddie Didn't Like His Teddy," and pretty much the whole song is like, and there's like a little part that Columbia comes in. You can tell she really loved him.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I think that was also a two-sided love.
Well, I mean, she also said that she loved Dr. Frankenfurter too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was a two-sided love. But either way, I
think the thing with Columbia and Eddie, though, I think that was like a real love.
Oh, yeah.
But with Columbia being in love with Dr. Frankenfurter, that was basically an unrequited love on her part.
Yep, and that's true too. Hell, there was a lot of things on that one, and also they do a lot more songs, but I do know is like they pull the cover off and you see Eddie in a coffin. By the way, it looks like a real body. It looks like a dummy. You can tell how.
What was that? Whatever.
You know how like when people make a special effect that person looks like they're dead?
Yes.
Well, you could tell this was not good. You could tell how much of a dummy it looks.
Weren't they eating him though?
I don't think so.
Because like I think I can't remember what he said, but Dr. Frankenfurter said something, and then Brad just kind of put down his fork like he didn't want to eat anymore.
Well, I don't think it was actually Eddie, but you could just tell because Frankenfurter used a pickaxe to kill him.
Yeah.
So pretty much all that stuff is from the pickaxe. But, besides that, but then there's some song, Frankenfurter's chasing Janet, and they turn them into statues, and you're like, somehow they're like all naked. I'm like,
Even though they were wearing like
clothes,
kind of sort of clothes, they were really. It was basically like Janet and Brad were like in their underwear most of the movie.
And Brad was wearing those old whitey ties.
I mean, they didn't really have boxers or boxer briefs back in that time.
Well, that's why I like boxers and boxer briefs. More to breathe.
But now we know what Mike wears.
I'm just saying, more to breathe.
No one needs to know what you're wearing under your pants, Mike.
And well, either way, besides that, yeah, you just kind of wonder. Then Columbia comes saying, I always liked you, but you always want Rocky and whatever.
And then he turns her into a statue as well. He basically ended up turning Brad, Janet,
Von
Scott, Columbia, and did I say Rocky?
Rocky.
All into statues. And then he put Janet, Brad, Columbia, and Rocky up on like a stage for them to perform.
Yeah, and they put him in garter belts.
Basically, what Frankenfurter wears throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, even a corset. But one thing I noticed, like when she unfreezes Columbia, right? When he unfreezes her, well, the statue, whatever. I noticed something really like her costume. I don't know if this was a design flaw or they want to go with it, but if you didn't, I know what you're going to say next, but pay attention to her chest. You can tell that her was like boob flash, whatever.
I never noticed that.
Well, I did, and I'm a guy, but still.
Okay.
But still, I'm just saying. I'm wondering if it was.
Of course, you noticed that because you're a guy.
Yes, I'm a guy, but here's the thing. But can I go on?
Yes, go.
But when they did it with Janet, hers was fine. See, that's what I'm saying. If that was a design flaw, or they wanted to go with that, you know what I mean?
It might have just been a mistake or something. Who knows?
Well, then again, we don't know about. But like I said,
like no one seems to be upset about it, considering that in 2005. Everybody got upset when Janet Jackson accidentally flashed her boob at the Super Bowl.
That was bad?
Yeah, they got fined for it. Mike, you knew about that. I told you about that.
But shouldn't they at least take half of the fine off?
No. Mike, you're being dumb.
Come on. I'm just saying. I know some women can get free drinks. Okay,
this was in the Super Bowl in front of thousands, maybe millions of people.
Okay, trust me. Who was really pissed, the Karens or the men?
There was quite a few people that were actually really upset by it. And if you didn't notice, her career ended while Justin Timberlake's had no effect at all.
Okay, we're getting off topic.
Well, you brought it up.
No, you brought up Janet Jackson.
No, you brought up the design flaw in Columbia's costume. I'm just saying, that's a movie. So if it was intentional, no one's going to care because they can just cut that out when they show the movie on TV. Well, if they ever show the movie on TV.
Which will be never because how it's rated R and it's really hard.
They show rated R movies on TV all fucking time.
Yeah, right? But because there's times they can cut stuff out.
Yeah, and I'm sure that there's some stuff that they can cut out of Rocky Horror Picture Show if they really tried.
Yeah, they can, but if they did, they would have to cut that one scene out. Don't Dream It, Be It. They would have to cut that whole scene.
They can doctor it, too. I've seen them do that.
Well, either way, it doesn't matter. They're never going to do it. If they did, they'll put it on IFC, which they're allowed to show tits. And curse without even without bleeps.
Yeah, so then what's the problem?
Because it's...
With her flashing her... Even if she did flash her nipple, what's the problem?
Nothing.
Okay, then.
I'm just wondering if it's a design flaw or not. That's what I'm wondering.
Oh, my God.
Because think, you don't know what went on Richard O'Brien's head. I'm just saying.
I mean, that whole entire movie, you don't know what was going through his head.
Well, doesn't matter. We still got a cult classic. And, well, one, it is a good cult classic because I've seen photos and everything. People will cosplay as the characters. They'll show it in theaters. Even people will react to the movie like just like taking like squirt guns or something just to squirt at the audience, throw food, do anything. Hell, they'll even have like even some people will take out the newspapers where Janet Weiss put over her head through the rain.
Yeah, so people are weird.
But like I said, I give it a good movie to watch. I think it's also an LBGTQ plus movie to watch, though I don't know.
I mean, no one really knows if that's what his really if that's what the intention was for. To be honest,
I think Richard O'Brien I think I saw him on an interview once. He was wearing a dress. He could have been trans. He could have been a cross dresser. Could have been anything.
I mean, no one really knows though.
So maybe the more of the story is trying to find your sexuality.
Maybe. Now, do you want to talk about the sequel?
Oh yeah! To everyone you don't know, there is a sequel called. And here's the thing: it was called Shock Treatment. It was a sequel to Rocky Horror Picture Show. And before you say no, there is not. Trust me, look up Shock Treatment, the Rocky Horror Picture sequel, right? Or just put Rocky Horror Picture sequel.
Uh-huh.
And it'll show Shock Treatment. It was a TV movie. It turns out this TV movie was so bad, you can't find it anywhere else. You can't find it. If you can find it online, you might have to go on those shady sites or people bootleg something. You know, the whole deal. And like I said, it's lost to obscurity. They use only the two characters is Brad and Janet, but it's played by different actors. And they used the same actors like Richard O'Brien, what was it, Patricia Quinn, Lil Nell.
Something like that, yeah.
They're in it, but the others, different actors, different. And what I read about it, I guess it's about Brad and Janet. They're not doing so good with their marriage, and they do this reality TV crap, you know. And yet people fall asleep in the studio. I don't know what was going on. Like I said, it wasn't a good movie. I think I found it on YouTube years ago, but
did you watch it?
Yeah, but I really barely remember what's about though. So
so you might be able to find it on YouTube if you really, really wanted to watch it.
But in my opinion, the music is fine. The whole story and the whole everything, not so great.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, just
pretend Shock Treatment doesn't exist.
Pretty much, like I said, I prefer Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I love the movie. I think I give it a 8 out of 10. Like I said, sometimes some of the stuff didn't make sense and it looked weird, but I loved it. I loved the music. My favorite songs were The Time Warp.
It's everybody's favorite song, apparently.
It's everybody's, yes. Hot Patootie, because, you know,
Mike loves Meatloaf.
I'm a fan, okay? Even if he wasn't singing, I still listen. There's even John Stamos singing on a show with us.
Does he actually play saxophone, Meatloaf?
I think he did.
Yeah.
If not, he's really good at faking till he's making it.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, you know, what else? Also, I like Dream It, Be It. Don't Dream It, Be It.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my opinion.
Well, we might want to mention about what happened at the end of the movie. So after the whole thing where after they turned into statues and they put on a performance and everything, they were having like this, for lack of a better word, orgy happening in the pool. And then Riff Raff and Magenta showed up and killed everybody. But Brad and Janet and the dude in the wheelchair,
Von Scott.
Yeah, Von Scott. They killed everybody but them three.
Yep.
And then there was a scene towards the end where it had to have been something out of King Kong, because Rocky was holding Dr. Frankenfurter's dead body and was like trying to climb up this tower that they had on the stage where they were.
Trying to escape through the ceiling door.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, where Riff Raff and Magenta comes in, kills them. They wear like these space garbs so that looks like it came out of the 1950s science fiction movie.
And that's when you realize that they were actual aliens. So I'm just a little confused by the whole movie.
But besides that, even their castle was like a spaceship or something, or no, they used some kind of like teleportation.
Yeah, and then it ends with like Janet, Brad, and Von Scott like laying on the ground outside.
You know what's also funny about Von Scott? You know how like everyone was wearing the corset, the stockings and everything?
Yeah.
He was wearing like a shirt, like a regular jacket and shirt, but when he lifts his blanket,
he was wearing stockings and high heels. Yeah.
And he doesn't get off the chair. He just like he does like a step kick in a wheelchair, just going back and forth
Yeah, so I mean, I would probably give the movie an 8 too, just because I'm slightly confused by the whole thing.
And I would say give it a watch.
If you haven't.
And try to find it on any streaming services or whatever, or find it on DVD.
Yeah.
Then again, people are like, "Oh, how old are you? DVDs?" I'm like, dude, I'm older than that. I was around during VHS days.
I was around during VHS days too, so
it's like
we're both kind of old.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even, Mike. I swear to God, I will make your life hell.
I'm just saying. You look old.
Okay, Mr. looking like he's 40 and he's only 31. So, anyways, so just to let y'all know, we are trying to get up to 100 subscribers.
We are at 12 now, which means 88 more to go.
If you guys do help us get up to 100 subscribers, we will show our face, and we will also be doing some cosplay.
Yay.
Mike will be cosplaying as Lady Tsunade from Naruto, and I will be Gordon from Black Clover. I almost said Black Butler. Black Clover.
I look like an ugly woman.
You'll be fine, Mike. And just help us get up there.
Yeah, please, and we can get this. And also, like I said, just help us out and like, subscribe, give us a comment too, and
don't forget about next week's hint, Mike.
Okay, next week's hint. It's showtime.
Yep. So look forward to next week's episode, and you guys have a good day. Remember, like, subscribe. Any suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Bye.
Bye.